start recording here. So the first thing I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go walk you through what I did for you in Revit. So for the time being, just watch me. We all know here's where you guys, your teams are. Here's what I would like to show you where Revit file is located. So I'm going to go, who's team one? Team one, I'm going to go open team one folder, and you guys can watch with me. We are in the winter quarter, so I go to the winter quarter. I put all the Revit stuff under design drawings, which makes sense, right? Because these are ultimately, they're going to be the drawings. I put them here. And if you go to winter quarter, design drawings, and you're going to find my friend AutoCAD as well as Revit. For most of you guys, you're not going to find AutoCAD. You have to go copy the AutoCAD, but you will definitely find a folder that's called Revit. That's where your stuff is going to be. So I'm going to go open this folder. When you open the Revit folder, you're going to find ARC at the top and the central file right in here. You're looking right now at my central file. It's already set up for you. It's already set up for you. Let me tell you how this works. You don't have to do anything with setting up the folder. If I can grab my thing and have a snapshot of it, if you guys see the central file, here's my architectural folder. Inside the architectural folder, there is a Revit file, Revit architectural file. Cool. And I created central file is located right in here. This is if you look at the naming, and thanks to my friend, actually Neil is the standardized for this one. It's beautiful, beautiful. So if you look at the naming, really nice naming. We start with ELEC underscore commercial for the commercial project, underscore E central, electrical central. E stands for E central. Electrical Central 2012. So this is your central file that I created for each team. Each one of you is going to have that folder. So when you open when I say open your and start work, open your Revit and start working your folder, this is the folder that you're going to be opening, not any other folder. Cool? Everybody's okay with this? Now, how does this work? Here's what we do, guys. This work, the folder, so we have your central. The architectural folder is actually linked to the electrical folder, to electrical. Central. And you guys don't need to, this is FYI, you don't need to do anything with it. So first we create the central file, then we link the architectural model, and actually this is a model, 3D model. We link the architectural model into the central file. It's already done for you. You don't need to do anything about that. But that's why this folder here is very important. One thing I don't want you guys to do, please do not remove or delete the architectural folder. Otherwise, if you remove it or rename it or delete it, rename or delete this folder right here, we have to recreate, not a big deal, but I have to recreate, we have to recreate and relink the central file again. So this folder, just FYI, leave it on, the architectural, right? Cool? Please don't mess with it. It's already there. I'll open and show you what's inside it. Inside it is a Revit file, 3D model of a 10,000 square foot commercial building. Cool? So what we did is we create a central file, and we linked the central file, the architectural to the central file. Linking is equivalent to XREFing. If you know XREFing, you're done. So do you remember how we guys did? We opened CAD, Phil. Remember how we opened the CAD file and we XREFed the background into the CAD file? XREFing in Revit is linking. Does that make sense? So this step here is equivalent. The linking is equivalent to XREFing. If I spelled it right, XREF. When you XREF the file. Cool? It's already done for you. It's already XREF. Actually, instead of XREFing in CAD, we XREF every layout. The site, we XREF the site, if you guys remember, and we XREF the garage, and we XREF the upper and the lower levels. In Revit, you only XREF or link one file. This is major difference between CAD and Revit. Revit, you XREF only one, you link only one file, 3D model, and from this file you can have different pictures. For example, if this model have 2-story building, I can cut it at one level and get the first story. from the same model, or I can go upper and cut it at the second level, and I can get a blueprint for the second story building. Or I can expand my view and I can see the parking lot and the whole building. If you guys remember that one, you'd never get mixed up between Revit and CAD. So in CAD, we extract multiple files like we've done in residential project. We did the swimming pool, we did the garage, we did upper and lower level, and the site, right? In CAD, one link, done, to a model, and from that model, you take what you want by slicing it at different elevation and expanding it to get what you want. Any question guys about this? So everybody knows the difference. That linking is very similar to extracting with some differences. Cool? Cool? Okay, so let's go ahead and take a snapshot of this. All right, so this is the file, the sacred cow file. I want you guys always to look at the name. Don't change the name. Oh, by the way, don't change the name of this file. This is a sacred cow. Don't copy this file and put it somewhere else, all the depot, because you don't like CAD. Wherever I put this file for you, please keep it. All your work, guys, is going to be in one file. Meaning, at the end of the quarter, if you screw up your file, your project, there is a backup. You screwed up not just one sheet. You screwed up every single sheet, because everything is in that model. So please, please don't rename. Keep the linking. Don't move that folder where it says Revit and Central File. Please don't move it. Let me walk you inside. What's inside this folder here? If you go here, this is your model. This is what we got from the architects. It says, can you guys see? It says Arc Commercial, A for Architect Central. This is a central file for the architects. For us, it doesn't matter to be if it's central file or not, guys, because we don't have architects working on the project. But if we have architects working on the project, Chris, the architects will be working live in this project, and we are linking to them. Every time they move a wall, we can see it after we load. We don't have architects, so this folder is basically locked. No changes will happen to this folder. Nobody can change it. If I ask you, here's where you can go there. Only if I ask you guys. If I say, Phil, there's something in the model itself that's screwed up. Okay? There's certain things, and I want you to go clean the model. The model itself. Where do you go? You go open this model, clean it, save it, and that's what you do. I don't want you to go there, except I want to ask you to do one thing there. Go clean something in it. But that's the model that you get from the architects for you to work on. That's what you guys did with Gary when you were building walls and ceiling. So if you don't like and you want to build another wall here, you don't do it in the central file. You're going to come over here and build a wall or change the ceiling, which I don't want you to do, right into the architectural file. Everybody knows the difference between architectural file, the building structure, and the central file, the one that we're going to be working on to put our system in the building. Any question about that? Cool?
Ours is a subset of the architectural.
Yes. Yes. Subset. But live one though. If you change that one, it will change it. Now, Ashley, do not go and rename this file, please. You rename this file, you disconnect the link between the linking that we have done. So these are sacred cow. Don't rename them. Use as is.
Is there any need for the temp folders?
Where's the Revit? There's a backup. If you can see, guys, there's always a backup. Every time you save, thanks God, any Revit file, there's a backup. The temp comes with the system. When you save it, when it's created, it comes with it. Huh? Yeah, so these come, guys, these are come up as a backup, especially the backup to the system. Revit temp, I didn't really save it. It came when they saved the folder, it created it.
All right, so we don't need that.
Don't mess with it. Yep, you don't mess with it. You don't need to do that. No, the only thing that you need is this. Do you have the arc backup? Yep, that's it. Any question, guys, where the architectural model is located versus the electrical central? Okay, now what is the central? Let me just tell you what a central file is. You guys haven't used central file before. A central file is a file that you, Chris, I want to use Chris and Nick. Chris and Nick have their own central file, so they're going to be working every time you open it, so you know what's going on. Here's Chris and here's Nick. Here's Chris and Nick working on a central file. Every time they have to go and open the let's start with the Nick. Nick, you open the central file, so you went open Revit, first open Revit, click on Revit. Revit will fire. Under open, file open, you go all the way to this file and you open it. After you open Revit, you don't double click on it. Do me one favor, don't open this folder by double click on it. It might work, but it created a lot of problems for us last year, the year before. Probably they solved it this year, but I wouldn't take my chance at least until we get through it. So when you open it, please don't double click on this folder to open it. Always get into the habit of opening Revit. You know how to open Revit, right? And then from Revit, go open folder or file, and then maneuver yourself all the way to the location of this folder and open it. Everybody knows how to open the software first and then open the file next. Okay, so next, you're going to go open Revit, and then when you open Revit, here's what Revit does. When you open Revit, Revit is going to create a local file on your C drive. That's how it works. So when you open it, guys, Nick now has a local file. Local file. So when you open it, the first thing it will ask you, do you want to create a local file? Say yes. So it will create a local file. Now you opened it and you are working on your machine. In reality, after you open it, you create a local file and you are working on your machine. Local means on your machine right here, not on the network. Okay? Now Chris did the same thing. At the same time, simultaneously went to the same folder, and he wants to, here's Chris. Chris went and grabbed, again, open it, and created local file. So this local file is on Chris's computer. This local file is on Nick's computer. Two different machines. Are you guys with me? Cool? Two different machines. Now you're working. Now you start working. Everything that you touch in Revit becomes yours. So for example, if you're throwing receptacles in one area and you're still working with these receptacles, you can't touch these receptacles. You're going to see how the reality is going to go. So when you're done, now Nick is done working, right? We're done. You finish what you want with coordination. You guys are going to be saying, okay, you know what? You guys are going to do the layout of the receptacles. I'm going to do the layout of the lights and so forth. When you're done, so Nick now, here's what Nick is going to do. Nick is going to synchronize to central. This is called synchronize to central. What synchronize to central, when Nick is done, after he's done with his work, or while doing it, it doesn't have to be finished, but while doing it, he goes hit a button in Revit and say synchronize to central. What synchronize to central, Nick, means is you loaded everything that you have done into the central file. Now Chris can see what Nick has done. Okay, so synchronize to central. Then Chris, the same thing. When you're done, you're going to go synchronize to central. You're going to synchronize. These are synchronized to central. When you're done with your work, you're going to hit the button, synchronize to central. Load my work into the central file. Cool? Everybody's okay with that?
Is that also inversely, if he's made changes and I synchronize, will that then incorporate the changes?
Yes. When you synchronize, yes. First you load up, and at the same time, when you synchronize, it load down. So, for example, let's use, very good point. Now, I'm going to use a different color. So this is another direction. When you synchronize, you're gonna get the latest. There's a button that says reload latest. So the most important thing we send after we work to the central file, from the central file, also whatever had been updated will come down to my local file so I can see each other's work. So when you guys are working, here's what you're going to need to do. Keep working. From time to time, you're going to go hit central and synchronize. When you synchronize, you send what you did to the network, and you bring from the network what your partner has done to your C drive. So you can see each other's work. You can work simultaneously on it. You might have to reload latest if you don't want to synchronize. There's two functions. Reload latest, meaning it's one street from the central to your copy. Synchronize, I believe it does both ways, but we will try it. It does both ways. Any question how the system is connected? Any question? Take this. Every time you open the file, it will ask you, now Nick, you finished today with working. Now you come tomorrow, you want to open the folder again. It will tell you, do you want to override the local file that you have had in your laptop? Most of the time we say yes, or you can append it. You can add, that will become a big folder in your C drive, guys. So you can override, get into the habit of overriding your local file. At all times, you will have a file on your laptop of everything that you have done. But I don't want you to get into the habit of not opening the local file. At all times, you will have a file here in your computer when you're done. But I don't want you to open the local file. Always open the central file. It will say, do you want to override the local file that you have in your machine? Say yes, and start working. Cool? Are we cool with the interaction? This is very important, guys, in terms of how the system is laid together. The only person that can access this folder is me, because I can make you all guys one central file, but we minimize the damage. So I have his shared here. The same thing, I can go to street between any of your folders, guys. Cool. So I usually go there to look at your stuff. And when I'm done, I say relinquish all. When you synchronize, you relinquish means everything that you touch that you own right now, you give it back to the central file so somebody else can touch it and work on it. Any question how the system works first? Cool? All right, let's go look at the view of how the project is going to look like. All right, so here's what I want you to do. And for the time being, guys, just watch me. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to go fire my, I don't know if you're like me. Do you know how to put your softwares at the bottom here? Anybody's in the habit of putting the launching software at the bottom? You don't have to. But here's my Revit. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go fire my Revit. So wherever your Revit execution file, go open Revit. Chris, my friend, and Jackson, do not double click on the central file to open it, please. And I will tell you why. It would work, but it created problems for us for 2 years. It could have been solved. I'm not saying it's not solved. It could be solved, but don't take the chance at least now. Okay, so we're going to open Revit MEP. Now you can go to the bathroom and come back while it's opening. Why don't you guys go open your Revit with me? Can you open your Revit? Open the Revit. Just the folder. Okay? All right, so when you reach here, everybody knows, of course, that you have to have your license for a certain time. Now, here's where a mistake that happened last year. Let me talk to Ashley, my friend. I have my license until the December 13th, so I have a few other days. I'll change it. Look at the folders I have open here. These are all the central files that I opened, which is all of yours because I set them up for you. What I don't want you guys to do is to come over here and double click on this one. Please don't get into the habit. It created some problems for us. It might work. I'm not saying it's not, but it created some problems for us. So when you come over here, don't go double click on this folder to open it, or this, or this, or this. I have much more than you do because I open all yours and I set them up for you. So please don't get into the habit of opening them right here, okay? So here's what I would like you to do, at least at the beginning. You're going to go to File right here, or you can go open another way. I usually, either way, you're going to go this way, File, Open. Cool. And if you hit Open, we could have done it here too. Open here, Open Project, or you can go from here, Open Project. When you hit Open Project from here, it will tell you where's your project located. That's why I want you to do it this way. Where's your project located? I'm going to go open a project that has been done last year to walk you through it, how it's going to look like, and then we start the setup with you guys. So for the time being, you guys stop here and watch your friend Chad. So your project is online. So I don't know about you guys. I have a shortcut. I went to my desktop and I had a shortcut that shoots me all the way to Dunwody's network. You know how to get into the network, right? Everybody knows how to get into networks. This is mine. I have a shortcut for 2012. The project that I'm going to look at is actually in 2011. You guys don't have access to 2011. So I'm going to go open 2011 year. That's last year. I'm going to go to look project in Team 2, done like yourself. I'm going to go look at the mess that they did here. I'm going to go to winter and design project like they did. And here's my central file. This is an already built, done project in Revit. Okay? When you go there, guys, don't double click on it, just highlight it. And I want you to look at this. You see that bind here, detached from central? If you click this, you will detach your file from central. You don't want to do that. But when you open it, William, every time you open it, always look at this button here and make sure that this button is not clicked. It's like this. It should be like this one. Cool? Just watch it. That's why I like to open it from this way so you can watch this. Detach from central, meaning I am in the central file. And if I want to detach myself, I can click it and detach myself from central. We're not going to do it. There's other at this time. Okay? Can you guys see that little detach from central? Everything is okay, right? And all what I can do right now, after I check detach from central, no, I don't want to check it like this. Look at this. If I click this, now I'm detaching myself from central. I don't want to do that. No, no, no. So you're going to leave it undetached. I'm going to go ahead and open it. Cool? Did you get that one? Leave it open. Don't detach it. That's how I would like you guys, please, to open your central file every time you do. Cool? Can I get you guys to listen to your friend chat?
Mine has a different. It's got the detach from central and it's got the create local checkbox.
Yes, because yes.
No,
Yes.
mine is not. No, mine has the option to click both of them. You want to see
If the create a central is clicked for you, is create a local file clicked for you, that's okay. You want to create so leave it as is, basically. It should be detached from central, not clicked. Create a local file checked. Okay.
Should we all be creating our own local file right now?
Right now, when we set up, I would like you guys, one of you to set up, but later on, everybody can work on it. Okay? So it's loading, guys. I'm going to walk you through how it's going to look like before we do the setup. So it gives you an idea how it's going to look like. Everybody knows where I gave you a Word document of snapshot on what I'm doing here, and I'm going to highlight certain things. So if I were you guys, I don't know if you're going to make a hard copy of it or not, but you can follow up with that Word document that I gave you, because that's what I'm going to be showing and emphasizing certain things. Okay. So if you guys if you want, here's what you can do. You guys can go and open, like I did, open your own central file. Why don't you do open and open your central file? You both can do it, but one can work. You can both open a central file, okay? But one of you guys when we do the setup, I want one to be working with me. But you can both open your own central file. So,
Go ahead and do it.
yeah, go ahead and open your central file while we're waiting. It always dumps it into your documents, always. Yeah. The local file is defaulted to my document. Always dump it into my document. It hides it there.
Like a scratch pad, correct?
The
local file is more or less a scratch pad.
For you have to work on, load your stuff. And if all hell break loose, and you will lose the central, what we did last time, we take your local and we create a central file from your local. It did happen. I don't want this to happen, but it comes handy too. Okay.
The reason why I asked is we need to be backing that up as we work for that.
Yeah, you know what? When you have local and he has local and we have backup on the network, there's a lot of backup. It really is. Unless you delete your locals and delete the backup and the file at the same time. Highly unlikely. Unless Chris is mad and go do that one. Okay, it takes a few seconds to load. While we're waiting, guys, can I trust you to go open your central file? Revit open central file, cool. Are you guys here? Okay, so file. Yeah, everybody's accessing the network at the same time. Speaking of which, guys, you will do me a favor. I'm hitting some cords and you plug yourself and make it faster here. If there are some plugs that you have a cord and you can plug yourself in your area, and it makes it faster. It should work wireless, but it makes it faster for the rest of us who don't have plugs. Anybody want to plug themselves? Do you have a plug there? Closer to you? You guys have a, you have a plug here, whatever. Right here. You can plug yourself in there. Right in this area. And you can plug yourself right into this area too. Just make it faster if we drop one or two guys off here.
Yeah.
They're all working. Okay. Everybody's accessing the network, so it's slow. Come on, bud. Still cooking, 78. Anybody is opening his? Almost there. Yeah, because yours is empty yet, but this one has loading a little bit, so that's good. Come on, bud. All right. Right there, where I want you to be. Right on the monitor. Okay, come on, come on. Laptop needs some coffee here.
So this is missing all the electrical news pads.
That's why.
Probably 30 minutes.
Yep, that's why I gave this one to get you. Almost there. Almost there. Hang in there.
So if we were working at home on the local, obviously you can't synchronize, because we're at home and then synchronize and you get back in. Correct.
What happened last year is if you want to work, good point, guys. Can I get you with me here for a second? Chris is asking, can I work at home? Here's what happened last year. If you leave your laptop open, I'm going to ignore this one. If you leave your laptop open, don't shut it, and you go home, that's what the students did. Don't shut your laptop, so have a local file, and local file, and then don't shut your laptop, go home, open it, work on it, come back. What happened is, we were able to synchronize, but we were able to synchronize. If you don't shut your laptop, I want somebody to try it one time at least to see if it works. But technically, we are supposed to be on the network when we are working on it right now. VPN, they should get you there. If you're VPN, because it's looking at VPN, it should get you there. Okay, all right, everybody guys with me. Here's what the project is. When you open it, you guys will see exactly what I see, except you don't. Okay. Can I get you guys a few things I want to show you here? First of all, this is how your project is going to look like. You're going to have a title block. Let's just go directly to the project, and then we'll tell you what all the way to the sheets, directly all the way to, because that's what you guys are familiar with, all the way to the sheets. Okay. So I want to go. If you guys minimize, this is the most important interface way at the bottom that you're going to have, Ashley. The first thing, when you want to look at the sheets, when we create the sheets, can you guys see all sheets right at the bottom here? Sheets all. This is where you're going to create. Do you remember how I don't know if you guys remember when we set up the paper in Revit in CAD, and we started setting up the layout of the paper, and we went to the printers and the plotters? That's exactly where all the setup in Revit is going to happen, in sheets. When we're going to do today, we're going to go set up the sheets, okay? If you guys if I click on the sheet for you, you're going to see the following. All the sheets that you guys are going to be creating. Very easy. You're going to see it's very easy. So, yeah, yours is blank. If you guys go under the sheets right now, your sheet is going to look blank. Your sheet is going to look blank because you don't have sheets. So when I say set up today, here's what I mean by set up. You guys are going to go create the E1 through E10, E1 through E10, and Rob, here's what you're going to do. We're going to give them an E-name, E1 through E10, and also the name, title sheet. Very easy. You're going to find that this is very easy. Cool? That's what the setup is. We're going to create the E1 through E10 right in here. Cool? Everybody knows what E1 through E10. So I'm just going to walk you through how the project is going to look like. If you go to E1, this is your title sheet. It's going to look something very similar to this. And oh, by the way, we have a project here for you. If you want to look how the others, this is the project, how it's have been done. Feel free to look at what they did too as a sample. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. Do a better job than these guys have done. This is how your title block is going to look like. Okay? Unlike, this is where I want you guys to wake up. Unlike CAD, all these things inside the drawing are actually links. So if you guys, I don't know if you can see here, just tell you, look at the picture, how nice it looks like. If you expand it, inside it, there are two files. Can you guys see that inside it are the two files? That's how you bring things to the sheet. In Revit, you drag and drop views into the sheet. Very easy. It's actually easier than CAD. In CAD, we XREF this one, or we copied it and paste it here, and we type this stuff here. You can't do that in Revit. You can type all this stuff here, or you can copy and paste this here, or but the way we do it though is we create something called views. Can you guys see, if you go expand the eSheet 1, there are two things in it. One thing is that picture, and another thing is this literature, or this thing. So I'm going to go click on, if I click here to show you what the schedule is, here's where they typed all their schedule. They typed it here. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then they dragged it and put it right into E1. Drag and drop, very easy. When you type it, you drag it and drop it into E1, and then you centralize it wherever you want it. Look at the 3D. The 3D view that you're looking at is a view that they created right in here, guys. They created 3D view, which is very easy to do, and they dragged it and put it in E1. Okay, so that's what I want you to understand is every sheet is going to have things inside it. So you have to expand the sheet later on. You're going to expand the sheets to see what's inside it and drag things and put it in that sheet. And I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so if I go back to the sheet's going to look like exactly like this, with how many things inside it? 2 things. Can I bring 1 trillion things inside it? Yeah. Drag. They have, they have 2 things. They have the picture here. See how if I click on it, these are coming from 2 different files. 2 different files. And the title page is the E1, the E. This is the title page that we're going to create.
No, but the title block looks like a 3rd.
This one here? Yeah. The first thing we're going to do when we do the setup, guys, is we're going to create a title block for you. And the title block, Ashley, is you're going to build, forget about everything here. The first thing you need to do is build the title block. We're going to go grab a sheet from scratch at 22 by 34, because that's what we do. You grab it and then edit it. When you edit the sheet, you guys are going to put your logo here, and you're going to type. This is literally typing all the material here, and type your project name here. I can zoom into that one. There you go. So you can type the stuff. This is all typing. You're going to type all the stuff in the type block, and then here's the stuff. Here's the information about the project that you guys are going to generate. Let's zoom a little bit. This is a tile block. So the architects, the company that you're submitting to, the electrical contractors. So these are all boxes you have to fill in your tile block. Exactly like in CAD. Remember how we did it in CAD? When we created the tile block, we filled all this information. And then you go and grab your logo and insert logo, like in CAD, exactly like in CAD. We insert logo into this tile block. The minute that you design the tile block, then you start dropping the tile block in the sheets. We'll show you in a second here. Okay, any question, guys, about this? So here's what sheet 1 is going to look like. Okay, let's go to sheet 2. So I'm going to minimize it so I can see that. The sheet 2 is going to have the symbols, exactly the same symbols that you did. So, Chris, can you guess if I expand sheet 2, what would I see right underneath that? A drafting view with the sheet. A drafting view with the sheet. So if you click here, you're going to go into, here's what we did this, by the way. The drafting view, we create a drafting view, and we imported this file from CAD. That's it, done. Very easy. We create a view called drafting view, I'll show you later on, and we import CAD file that you guys already have into this sheet, and we call it, and then we drag that view and we dump it under E2. Literally, like this, drag, like when you drag. When I say drag, I mean it. You can drag it from where it's like here, grab it, and put it right into E2. Drag and drop. Okay, so this is E2. Let's go to the power riser. The power riser, as you can see, there are two things in the power riser, two views. Revit is all about views. First you have the sheet, and then you drop views in it. That's it. So how many things do you guys expect if I expand this riser to be underneath it? A drafting view 1. Here's all the feeder schedule. This is just as easy as, you can do it in Excel, by the way. This could be done in Excel and imported here. The piece of cake. Or you can do it in Revit and import it here. Or you can do it right in here in CAD. And the same thing for the riser. This riser, guys, you can draft it. This is drafted. You can draft the riser. There are two ways of doing the riser. They're drafting and modeling. We'll get into that one as we go. This is, you can draft it in CAD. This is drafted actually in CAD. And we dumped it right into here. Done. That's the poor man's job. Those guys did the poor man's job, drafting it, and it works. We'll show you guys how to do it. Other students did it differently by views, and I'll show you how to do that. But it's so easy, really. This is drafted from any software, and imported into, you have to import it in a view that they call a drafting view, because it's drafted, and dumped here. Okay, and then, when you put them there, you have to centralize them and adjust them and so forth, you know. And then after that, you can see, can you guys see how I can move these views and screw them up if I want to? Incomparable software. Okay, don't drop me here. Okay, so you can move them. You can move these to adjust the views inside the sheet to make it look nicer. You know what I mean? You drag them and you can adjust. So here's my sheet. Now, obviously, you're not going to put it this way. The nice thing is, and print it, right? It's not going to print good. Okay, so that's sheet 1, sheet 4. Let's go to the site. You click on the site. Now, the site, guys, E1, E2, and E3 has nothing to do with the model. Nothing. Right? E1 is just drafting. E2 and E3, they're all drafting. E4 is the site. This is the model. So here's what my parking lot lights that I installed. My parking lot lights with the fixture tagged and all this good stuff. That's your site. Now, if you expand this, what do you expect to find underneath it? You're going to find a floor plan. There's two different plans. There's a drafting view and a plan. A plan is part of the model. A drafting view is part of nothing. I can do a drafting view in anything. Okay? So this one, here's what we did, Chris. We took the model, we shaved the model at, I think it's 4 feet here in this case. At 4 feet, shaved it. We expand the model to include the parking lot, and we start working on it. That's what they say by the plan view 3D. Okay, so if I click here, here's the view that this one came from, and I'm going to show you later on, guys, when we start doing it. With the view here, you can adjust your view. You can, look at that, I can cut my view of this model. Look at that, I can screw up my view if I want to. Now half of the building is gone based on my view. This is, a view is like a window. You can expand or contract that view. Does that make sense? That's a view. Obviously, I don't want to do that. So okay, so, and we'll get into the view, sizing the view and so forth. But that's the view that this one, the site is coming from. Go back to the site, and it will get you, my friends, oops, here we go. It will get you the sheet that you're going to be printing for the site view. Any question, guys, about the site view? Yes, sir. Okay. This might need some adjustment.
Because if you look on the sheet views, it's a good way to to say, okay, where's that site plan coming from? Okay, it's the floor plan.
I'll show you where.
Click on that.
Yeah, I'll show you where all these are coming from.
Yeah.
By the way, Nick is asking Chad, where the heck are all these views that you're showing us? I'll show you in a second. All these views where they're located. Okay, let's go back into 5. 5 is the lighting. This is how your lighting is going to look like. This is the building. We shaved the building at 4.5 feet so we can see the windows, and we drop in this way actually because it's light. We're shaving it, I think, at 9 or 10 feet because we want to see the ceiling to drop the lights. Cut it. And we dropped our lights, and if you zoom into any area, you're going to find that all these fixtures are right in here with the fixture type, the circuit occupancy sensor that control it. These are called tags. Very easy, guys, when we get into them. But I just want you to know this is a view. So if I expand this and I say, where the heck is this coming from? You click on it. This is the view where all this stuff is coming from, guys. And I'll show you where these views are located. Okay, let's go back into the sheet. Let's go back to sheet number 4, power. Here's floor power, all my air handling unit, generators, all these are dropped as views. All the receptacles in the floor, all the receptacles right here, quads, the quad receptacles right in here. And it's much easier than you guys think it is. It really is when you set them up. So let's look at the view that's coming from. It's coming from the plan view 1 power. This is where I work. When I start working and moving things, this is where I'm going to be moving things in the plan view power, and then I drop it to print it. Okay, so I'm going to go back to 7. 7 is low voltage. Here's all my low voltage stuff. The fire alarm, security phone data in the whole building. The view that this came from, obviously it's going to be a view that says low voltage. That's where I worked. Let's go to the riser low voltage. Riser low voltage, if you guys look at the riser low voltage. Draft. Draft means I drafted them. That's CAD. Every time you see the word draft, that's CAD. This is done in CAD, imported into Revit. Very easy. In a drafting view. All right, so this is the low voltage riser. Panel schedule. Here's the panel schedule. These are these panels. All these panels are generated by the software, and then when they're done, you drag them and you drop them in any view. I can drop these in E1 if I want to. In this case, happened to be in E8 because E8 is the panel schedule one. Right? Cool. E8, and then if you go all the way to E9, E9 is equipment schedule. Here's all the equipment schedule that you need to fill. Oh, by the way, what the heck is inside it? Let me go check. It's a drafting view inside it. This is drafting. This is done in CAD, imported in Revit. Poor man's job. We would like to do them in Revit, but we can, if you, for whatever reason, we did them in CAD for this group. Schedule, lighting schedule actually done in Revit. You can run a schedule from Revit when you drop your lights. Schedule, you run a schedule, or you can design a schedule if you go deeper. And this is a schedule run in Revit, saved as a schedule, dragged and dropped into this view.
You mentioned that you can import other
anything,
other sources.
Anything.
Do they dynamically update, or is there something?
No. The minute that thank you. The minute that you import it, it's a standalone copy. Yeah. So that's why it's poor man's job. Okay, the last one, guys, is details. All these beautiful details I've done gone again, and not in CAD, and not in Revit, in CAD. So if you click over here, can you guys see drafting? Every time you see drafting, the view is coming in where? CAD. You see drafting view. And here's the drafting view that came from CAD. You can edit this drafting view here, or you can go back to CAD and edit it and import it again. Okay, so this is.
Once you have imported, you may then modify in Revit.
You can modify in Revit. Once you import a file, you can. It's like exploding the file. Remember when you import it, it's like a block. You can explode. I can't remember the term that they use, but it's exactly like exploding a block. You can explode the file, and then it becomes editable. They make it editable. Then you can change it directly into Revit. What happened last year and the year before, guys, if you do that, sometimes you screw up the text. There's a lot of editing happen. We did one for a couple of files. Like if I go explore this one and I want to edit it here, the text might be so big now I have to adjust the text. But these are the issues that you do when you import from CAD to Revit. Okay, so these are the E10 that you guys are going to be doing. What I expect you guys hopefully today is just to design them and name them. That's all. Nothing is going to be, when you name them, nothing is going to be in them. It's just the name. Right now, it's going to be just the name, right? And the E and the name. And then we drop things as we go. Can I give you guys 5 minutes break before I continue? This is called the marathon, Revit marathon today. Okay, so let me go. Let's stay. Okay, let's go ahead. So the most important thing, Ashley and everybody else, as when you come down here is the sheets, which you guys have 0 sheets right now. I like to start with the sheets, Nick, because that's what we're going to be printing, right? Whatever you do, if you can't print it, it's worthless. If you can't submit it to the customers, it's worthless. And most of the time, at least right now, we submit the model and we submit sheets. Okay. Any question, guys, about the sheets? And what do the sheets have? Everybody knows what the sheets have. They have the title block and views inside them. Title block and views inside them. Cool? Okay, I'm going to go minimize the title block. So I'm going to minimize the sheets. So from moving on, tell my friend Ewan Jackson, moving on, if you guys want to look at the sheets, where would you go? To sheets all. Cool? If you're looking at your sheets to print, if we're going to print and put our sheets, where do you go? Sheets all. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you there's a few other things that are very important to see. Do you guys have the electrical? Everybody has the interface here. Everybody has electrical? Okay. Everyone has electrical? Can you expand the electrical? When you expand the electrical, let me just minimize that. What do you guys see under electrical? Do you see lighting and power? At least lighting and power, right? You see lighting and power. Okay. Do you see these question marks? You don't see question marks. Okay, cool. Hold your horses. Let's go to lighting. So, Ashley, everything that you do for lighting, it's going to be done under this folder. And I'll show you what. If you guys go, can you minimize them to look like lighting and power like this and expand lighting for me? Let's go expand lighting. When you go to lighting, do you guys see floor plan and ceiling plan? You guys see floor plan and ceiling plan? Okay. If you go to the ceiling plan, these guys, these are, you're looking at a 3D model. If the ceiling plan looks at the ceiling. So here's the 3D model, right? When it says ceiling plan, that you're looking at what's in the ceiling. The floor plan is looking what's in the what's basically usually 4 feet above the floor. If you come over here and you cut 4 feet above the floor, what you can see from the top down, yes, you chop this, take this room and cut it all the way, make a view of 4 feet off the ground and cut the whole thing. What do you see? You see basically windows, right? And the layout of the room. What we did, at least what worked for us, is when we drop lights, where do we drop lights? Do we drop it in the floor or in the ceiling? The ceiling. So when we're working with light, we're always going to be working in the ceiling. When you drop your fixture, start grabbing a fixture and dropping it in the location, you're going to drop it in the ceiling. So if you guys go click, how many views of ceiling do you have? 2. Click on this one. What do you see? By default, I'm not going to get into it yet. I'll walk you through how to set it up, guys, later on when we reach lighting. But by default, you should see some type of a view. It doesn't look like my view. Everybody can see some type of a view of the building. Okay? Now that's where you don't see anything in it yet. That's where you're going to put all your lights. That's where you're going to be putting all your lights.
Now, how you're talking about how it's cutting. Now, is it cutting for the lights? Is it cutting it from about? Is it looking up?
A view range. A view range. And I don't want to go there, guys, with the view range. This particular one right now, I don't want to go there. Don't ask me too much. But you can control what you're going to be seeing by something called view range. And this is right now, it's the offset for associated level 1, and we're going offset 1 of, so this is where we can see that view. And I can, if I change this one here into 10, everything disappears. But can you, yeah, go ahead. You can see, and I can see this. If you guys look at this view here, and Nick is saying, what is this view cutting? If I only see where am I cutting it to see, you go all the way. Can you guys see with where the top? Everybody can see that one, graphic interface. If you go all the way to the bottom, can you see where it says view ceiling, view range? Everybody can see that. If you click in the view range, this is the view range that's looking at. We're looking top level, above level 2. We have levels. We set the level, and it's set at 4 offset of level 1 by 4, so I can see the walls and the ceiling. And looking up, bottom, top, 1 foot, and so forth. So I don't want to go there yet. But this is how we set. This is how we set what we can see. This, when we get into lighting, guys, I'll walk you in details through how to set up these. Okay. But for the time being, this is where you can go to get your setting. And these setting, I don't want to walk you through. Their setting might be not the best setting either. So. But what I want you to know is, if you're looking, we're going to be working fill. When you work lights, you're going to be in the ceiling. Drop your fixtures in the ceiling. Done. That's what you're going to what you're going to do. When we circuited in the floor, and we circuited in the ceiling. Look at this is not unedited view. This is an ugly view, unedited. For them, I'll show you how to get this one. So what they did, the clean view, as we circuited in, we dropped the fixture in the ceiling and we circuited in the ceiling. When we get into the circuiting and dropping, we'll walk you through. But I want you to know, when you do lights, you're going to be in the ceiling view. So when you guys look at yours, what do you see? Do you see a view, some type of a view, right? Okay, that's all right here. Some type of a view. How to set the view, we will be coming to that. Okay, so that's for light. So I'm going to minimize the light. I'm going to go to the power. Click on power. What do you guys see? You see floor? Do you guys see a floor plan? How many views of floor plan do you see? 2. Okay. Now here's my floor. Now, let me ask you, Ashley. When we do floor plan, now the lights are on the ceiling. Where do you guys think the receptacles are going to be? Receptacles are going to be off the floor, right? 2.5 foot and a half off the floor. So that's, they call them floor view. When you do receptacles in power, we do them under power. And if you click on power, I think you guys have a view of the power. Here's the power. This is the power. And my power is located right in here. My power is located right in here. So when I start throwing up my receptacle, I do them in this power view. And it says power. I named it power so I know it's receptacle. If I click on the one right underneath it, I made it low voltage, so I know it's low voltage, and you can see the power disappear. It doesn't disappear. I make him disappear later on. I'll show you how to make him. Like, you guys remember that when we worked with layers and how we turn layers on and off? Everything here is inside the model. What you're looking at is what you want to see by turning things on and off exactly like layers in CAD. All right, so let's go to the site. When we went to the site power, here's all my site. These guys, they put the site over here because there's some receptacles, some lights in the site. So that's a view that we generate to put receptacles and lights for the site. Now, here's my question for you. What if I need another view to do whatever I want? The easiest thing, guys, is what we do, we come over here, right-click on it, and do you see duplicate view, duplicate with details? I'm going to do it. If you duplicate with details, if you hit duplicate with details, it gives you an identical copy of that view. Identical copy of that view. Can you guys see that? I have an identical copy of that view. Now, who cares? Because I can rename. See, this is my copy. I can rename this, rename it, and call it Chad if I want to. So now I have a view that's called Chad, and I can have multiple views. I can, with this view, Phil, I can go cut it at a different elevation. I can put different things in it. What this helps you guys, it really is, it helps you to put the power in one view and the low voltage in another view. And those guys, they did also the site in a third view. So they can, a view, it's like a viewport, exactly like a viewport. When you have a viewport, what can you do? You can control what's in the viewport. That's very similar to the viewport, very similar in CAD, very similar to the viewport. I have a view Oladipo, and then I can turn things on and off in that particular view. Okay, so I'm gonna go, if I made a mistake and I hit this one that I did, what do you do? Right click on it, delete. Now I deleted the view that I created under power.
When we start, we're gonna wanna take clean copies and duplicate them before.
Yes. Well, not really. If you can duplicate at any time, because what you can see when I duplicated it, I saw all the power, but I don't care about the power. Then you can go to what equivalent to the layers and turn certain things on and off in the new view, if that makes sense. Okay, any question guys about this? I have my power. So the most important thing, Ashley, that you're going to have is two views, set of views, lighting and power. Under lighting, you're going to put your lights, and under power, you're going to put your power. And do you guys remember the sheet when we were looking at the sheets and we said these views are coming into the sheet? So for example, let me just take you to one little thing. Let's go to the sheets. Here's my sheet. Let's go to the power. Can you guys see this power? Here's where I put my power. The one that I'm going to print power. Okay, right underneath power, what do you guys see? Right underneath power, it says floor plan 1 power, right? Floor plan 1 power. That's the view that we were just looking at. So let's go back all the way up. So it's floor plan, it's electrical, it's power, and floor plan power 1. This is the view that we dropped, in the sheet. Does that make sense? This is where this view is located. Can you guys see where this view, 1 power all the way down, and this is the same view, right? I just dropped it into E6. I can go ahead and drop in any E I want. So what I want you to understand is there's views of the building that I can drag and drop in sheets. Okay, here's my power. Any question, guys? The most important things is lighting and power. Any question about lighting and power? These are views already set for you. You can duplicate them to have as many views as you can. Now, none of you guys have this one, right? At the top, the question marks. Do you have it? You don't. Now, if this is, remember I told you about the drafting views that you can bring from CAD? This is where, if you bring it from CAD, the drafting view, that's where it dumps them for you. Because a drafting view is not part of the model. It's a completely different file coming from CAD or from Excel or from anywhere else. So anything you import to CAD, to Revit, you import it. If you import it as a drafting view, which I think the best way is to import it as a drafting view, then it will dump it into, because you guys haven't imported yet anything, it will import it right under this question mark that I don't know how to change, and right underneath this say drafting view. So for example, you guys remember the drafting view number 1 here? Let's just go riser schedule, low voltage risers. Remember the low voltage risers that you have? We said these were drafted in CAD. This is where they dropped. They put them, when you draft them, when you import them as a drafting view, it dumps them right in here. Then when you capture them in this view, you can drag them and put them in the sheet that you want them to put them in. Does that make sense? I have multiple files. I import them into Revit. When I import them, it lists them all under drafting view here. Up to this point, they're not going to show up in the drawing. After I put them here, then I go there and drag them. I can go drag them and put them in this case, let's just say this was what? The low voltage riser. That was right here. Can you guys see it? It's the same one. Does it look? It's coming from drafting view low voltage riser. So I'm dragging it from the drafting view. So right click if you can bring guys add a work, apply, duplicate view, copy, rename. So we can drag it. Okay, we can. What we have done is we can literally drag any of these. See, I'm dragging it. And all the way down, if I can reach, all the way down. It's in my hand now. I'm holding it, and I'm going to go put it. I don't know what I put it right in here. Empty. You cannot be placed on the sheet. Was it empty? Okay, let's go drag another thing. Oh, that's empty. Let's do the detail. Just screw up the thing. Look at the detail. I'm going to drag the detail and put it on a sheet. So hold it and see, can you guys see it's in my hand? Go down here. In my mouse, I'm mousing down. Where do you guys want to put it? Tell me any place you want to put it on. Shall we do it on detail? No, detail is already there. Shall we do it on the low voltage to screw it up? So you drag it in low voltage. This view is already placed on E10. Okay, so I might have to duplicate the view. Yeah, if you are to, this is another thing. You can only drop the view one time. If you want to drop it in 2 different locations, you have to duplicate it. That's kind of how the software works. I wasn't able to drop it again because it's already used in E10. If I want to use the same view in E11, piece of cake, duplicate the view. You're going to see, we'll get into the details as we go through, guys. Okay, any question, guys, about this? Any questions? So,
When it's in a sheet view, it's read-only, correct?
not really. You can edit right there. If it's in a sheet view, like look here, yeah, if you're right here, it's just that. You don't want to work right here. But if you want to work on this schedule, here's what I do. Either you go where the schedule is located, or if you expand it, see, I want to work on this schedule, right? I want to expand it. Here's the schedule. If you double click on it, it opens it for me. Now I'm
Actually back up,
all the way back to where it's located.
so it isn't, and they're sync, right?
In
So
sync.
when you do one, it shows up in
Yes.
this another access.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely. A view of it. Okay, here's all the sheets. Now, you're going to be in, we know where the sheets are. Let's look at the view and the discipline. I want to remind you that you default into electrical. There's also mechanical stuff here. We're not going to mess with the mechanical. We're defaulting to electrical. If you have a drafting view, your drafting view, this is walkthrough. We don't want to work through. Under electrical, you have a drafting view, and you have also the sheets, the lighting and the power. So this is what I want to emphasize. You are going to be working under electrical.
We don't have anything else.
You don't have mechanical or anything? Okay. Actually, we can set it up to have the mechanical, but if you don't have mechanical, it doesn't matter. You have the electrical. Okay, any questions? So all the work actually is going to be done right in the electrical, as you can see. Now, moving on, schedules. Do you guys have schedules and quantities? Okay. Now, when you build your model, that's what's nice about Revit. Instead of typing your schedule, you can push a button, and it will run any schedule you want. There are literally many tens of schedules in the software that you can run, and if you don't like the schedules, you can design your own schedule. So look at this guy. If I expand, you guys don't have anything under there. I have electrical circuit schedule that I ran. These are all your electrical circuits, the length of the circuit. Isn't that cool? Gives you the length of the circuit, the type of the circuit. I have electrical equipment schedule. I have lighting fixture schedule, and I have a mechanical equipment schedule. So you can add as many schedules. I'll show you how later on how to run a schedule. These guys, there are 2 ways of a schedule. Either you run a schedule, or you basically type a schedule. Here, typing is a poor man or woman's job. Running is the best way to do it, because if you run it, if you type it, it's not dynamic. If you run it, then it picks up the data from whatever you change. If I run a schedule for these fixtures, the ballast in these fixtures, every time I change this fixture and I run the same schedule again, actually, well, every time I print the schedule, if I change the ballast in this fixture and I run a ballast schedule, if I change the ballast here, it will change in the schedule. If it's dynamic. If I typed it, as we know, you type it, and you change that one here, it's not going to change.
But it is, you must rerun the schedule.
You know what? It's actually, you don't. It will load it. It's dynamic. Yes. That's a nice thing. Every time you change one thing in one location, it changed everything related to it in different locations. That's the okay. Do you guys have panel schedule? Do you have a sheet that says panel schedule? No? Okay. All right. Now, because you know why? Because you haven't run any panel schedule. When you run a panel schedule, Ashley, all the schedule that you guys type for us, after you lay out your receptacles and power them, you hit a button, say run a schedule, you run all these schedules, and you put them under panel schedules. Look at them right here. I have a lighting control schedule, a lighting panel schedule, mechanical main panel schedule, receptacle schedule, and UPS schedule. So if I look at the main, click on the main, here's all your schedules. that these are all the circuit that has been fed from the main panel. This is the beauty of Revit. The minute that you put the information on it, you don't have to visit, you don't have to type. Remember how we used to type the schedules? You guys typed it for me in CAD? Done. You put the information right in Revit, you run a schedule, it's done. All the scheduling is done for you. Panel schedules. Cool. If I want to go look at the receptacle schedule, here's a receptacle panel with all the information in it, all the loads in it, directly sucked from the system. Isn't that cool? You don't have to type it again. Am I the only one who's excited here? Or there's a few others? It's really cool. I mean, Revit, that's what Revit is taking, probably will be taking over. It's so dynamic. Everything is interconnected. I can give this model to the maintenance electrician. They can click on the ballast and give you what type of ballast here and go change it. Yes, sir. You can import and export almost from anything in Revit. Yeah. Now that's called poor man's job. No, it doesn't work. Well, I know hyperlink, or what do they call it, the hyperlink. I've never did hyperlink with this one. But say if you want to do your schedules in CAD or in Excel and import them, can I do that? Yes. Is Revit meant to do that? No. If you do it for CAD, would I accept it? Completely no. Especially when running schedules in Revit is so easy. If it's a complicated things, guys, I don't mind bringing it from CAD, from other software. It's something like running scheduled panels. You're going to see very easy. When you circuit your equipment, you hit the button, it populates it for you. And if, by the way, if you don't like it, it allows you to edit it too. But we'll get into that one as we go through. Okay, so all your panel schedule actually are here under panel schedules. So everybody knows now the electrical. Oh, that's where we work. We know the schedules and what's the difference between schedules and quantities and panel schedules? Panel schedules is only panel schedules, right? For the panels, electrical panels. The second schedule, that schedules and quantities, I can run a schedule for all the length of all branch circuits. Not a panel schedule. I can run a schedule for all the number of all the receptacles in the building. Number. So that's what the difference between panel schedule is. Strictly panel schedule. The one you copy and by code, you print it and you stick it to the interior or the exterior of a panel. That's what a panel schedule is. The other schedules are, I can run a schedule, William, of all the air handling units in the building with the manufacturer name, everything. So the fixture schedule. A good example there you can run is mechanical schedule, all the mechanical equipment, circuiting, all the stuff, and lighting schedule. Okay, so that's the difference between these. Okay, sheets. We did electrical, we did schedules, we did panels, we did sheets. The last thing I want to show you is families. Unlike Revit, on CAD we use blocks, and I gave you guys, remember how we said, I don't know how many of you remember the tool palettes, when we loaded the tool palettes and you start grabbing all these symbols and throw them in CAD? In Revit, they call them families. So can you guys see, everybody should see a family here at the bottom, right? This is the single most important thing. That's where you're going to find all your stuff under families. Now, Phil, if you can't find the air handling unit under families, you have to go, I call it adopt a family or import a family. You can, this is the families that come with the system. I'm going to show you in a second. And if you can't find what you want, you can go import the family. And when you import something, it's going to go dump it right in here. It's very important to know where things, when you import them, are going to be located. You import the family, it's going to dump it right under families. For example, let's go expand the families. If you expand the families, look what you're going to find. Air terminal. You might not be familiar with the terminology, guys. Air terminal, these are the lightning arresters. All the families for lightning arresters are going to be here. Annotation doesn't mean anything to you. These are a family of annotation, all the annotation that you want. If I expand the annotation, look what I have. Under annotation, I have an area tag. Here's one tag. I have communication device tag. So tons and tons of families, and I'm not going to show you how to use them. It will be coming, but I want you to know, if you keep, I might actually, I have more than you guys have. So let's just take you to something that you're familiar with. Okay, do you guys have electrical fixtures? Can you go all the way to E? under families, expand it, go all the way to E. Do you have electrical fixtures? Okay, electrical fixtures, electrical equipment. If you expand electrical fixtures, you're going to find, now electrical fixtures are different than lighting fixture. That took us a while to understand it. When we say electrical fixtures, a lot of people, in our minds, they used to, at least I got confused because I think of them as lighting fixture. Electrical fixtures are the receptacles, the boxes, the panels, everything. They call them electrical fixture. Get used to this. So if you duplicate receptacle, here's all, I have a GFCI. Can you guys see what it looks like at the top if I click on it? And I have a standard receptacle. And it will tell you the information about it right in here. J boxes, I have a J box square, a square box, single circuit, 2 circuits, 3 circuits, 4 circuits. So Ashley, I can run a J box -4, meaning 4 circuits coming from a J box to feed something. And I'm not going to get into the details. We'll get into it as we go through. These are the difference between these J boxes. I have J boxes with load. Look at this. I can run a J box 480-3. This means a 3-phase circuit coming from a J box. 3 hots. 2 means 2 hots. 1 means 1 hot, right? We'll get into this one. Why do they do it this way? Because these are dynamic. They need to be wired. They need to be connected, powered. Okay, so these are all the families. What does that mean? If I want this box, guys, you go drag it. See how I drag it? Go to the view that you want, drag it, literally drag it and drop it into that view. And you're done. That's how you can insert things. This is your library that you can insert from. And they're really cool. Motor switches. You name it. GFCI quad GFCI and plane. Switches. Look at the switches. And I know I have more than you guys are. Yeah. Yeah. And all this stuff, if you don't have what I have, which probably you don't, because you haven't loaded the families yet. We're going to be loading a lot of families, a lot of symbols. So what I want to occupancy sensor, you guys probably don't have the occupancy sensor. Occupancy sensor. I just want you to know, oh, look at this. This is really interesting. All the fixtures that you're going to be using in this project, we have them as a Revit families, and you're going to be loading them. So if you see where it says lighting fixture, these are all the fixtures that came from Lithuania with us, and we loaded them into the system. We can load a family at any time. We don't have to do them all now. As we get closer to working on lighting, we start loading these families. Okay, now can I trust that everybody knows how important that file is? We at the family. This is where you're going to have your blocks, your building blocks, your families, your symbols right in here. Tao, my friend, does it make sense? Just to know where things are. I'm hoping this is just an overview to know where things are. Okay? The last thing is very important. The last thing is, I don't want to talk about groups yet. The last thing is, can you guys see the link? This is Revit link. I want you to pay a lot of attention to this. This file, Oladipo, it will tell you what's linked to this central file. If you expand it, guess what? Do you guys see architectural, commercial? Do you see that? Now, Chris, you open your central file and you don't see anything. Nothing. And you start yelling at Chad. Where did my model go, Chad? The first thing you're going to go check, you're going to go to this Revit link and check here. I guarantee you will be XXX questions, meaning the architectural file, your partner, Nick, troublemaker, went and deleted it or move it. That's why I told you guys don't move it. The link, every time you link a file to CAD, it will drop your file right in here. So if you go there and you can't find your model, please go check there and make sure it will tell you it's not there. So what do you do after that? We will relink you again. I'll show you how to relink. Tau, if you link CAD file, also if you link CAD file, you're going to find all your link. If you link another CAD file, it will be right in here. For the time being, guys, the only thing that we link is the model, the architectural model. Everything else we import them. Is that a good overview, guys, of the whole system? Whole system together? Okay, so I'm going to go back into my electrical. power and sit at this view. As you can see, you can zoom into any area, guys. We'll get into the zooming and all this good stuff in a second. Let me just, come on, buddy. I want to remind you guys, that you are dealing with a dynamic model, 3D. Everything that you're doing is in 3D, okay? That's all what I want you to know right now, guys. We will go through how to make views and all this stuff as we go through. Any question first? Does that give you an idea what we're going to do? Really, the most important thing, Ashley, what you're going to be is right here, in here. First, you need to see the view by discipline. That, very important. That's where you're going to work electric, especially electrical. And the second thing is the schedules. Not that important. Later on becomes panel schedules, and the sheets, and the families, and the links. As you click here, guys, it will reflect the information. This is the property. They call it the properties. If you click on anything at the bottom here, Rob, can you guys see that? It will, at the top here, it will show the property of what you clicked on. Very easy. I'm going to show one family just to show you how it shows the properties. I want you to be aware of that. For example, data device plane. I clicked on the data device plane, and if you click on it, Ashley, it will say data outlet plane, and it puts some information. It's defaulted at 1.5 feet. So when you drop it, it will be 1.5 feet off the ground on center. All these defaulted to this family. Now, can I change this? Bring it on. Yeah, you can edit families, change families. So, but you got to be very careful. Every time you click on anything in this window here, it will bring the property of that item here. Okay, so if I click on, well, let's go something that we know, fixture, for example. Let's go to electrical fixture and see what fixtures I thought. Here go, lighting fixture. I have the ceiling downlight 277. Look at this. I have ceiling downlight 277 lighting device. This is a ceiling downlight sensor, regular. This is a motion detector sensor that I have. It looks 277. Now here's what Ashley's going to do. She's going to grab this sensor, and I'm picking on Ashley here. Anyone can do this. Grab the sensor and throw it in the building. Good. Up to this point, it looks beautiful. The minute Ashley starts grabbing, circuiting this sensor, the panel that we have is 28120. And look at this sensor is saying what? 277. So you see, Chad is not powering. Well, because we're trying to power a sensor that runs at 277 from a voltage that's 120. So please pay attention to the voltage. Unlike CAD, guys, where you can grab anything and throw it anywhere else, there's a voltage and a phase with every component electrical that you pick. If the voltage is 120, you cannot power it from 277, and vice versa. If the voltage is 3-phase and you're trying to power it with one phase, you can't power it from single phase. So pay attention when you drop them, they will drop. They will show in the plan. But when you power them, so you can get the circuit out, it doesn't see it. Say, Chad, I'm trying to do it. It's not seeing it because it's looking at the same equipment with the same voltage, but it's not seeing it. It's not the same voltage. So please, good.
You edit the properties on these.
Yes, you can. Thank you.
Does it retrofit everything else? Or does it just
Yes.
from here forward?
Yes. Now, if you take this ceiling occupancy sensor, look what happened. And I'm going to change the voltage to 277.
What is
277 to ground.
No, you said you're going to
I'm changing it to 208. Well, 120. I'm going to change it to 120. Make up your mind, Chad. I'm going to change to 120. If I go change this one, it will change the family. That particular member of the family, it will change it everywhere you are using this, not just in this location.
So if you want something unique that you want to duplicate in there.
Thank you. That's where we get it. If you want something unique, you duplicate the family. You don't change the family. Because if you change the family and your partner used it, you have just changed everything that he used. So yes. So every time you want to change the default, make sure you're going to show you how to duplicate it, make a copy of it, rename it differently, and then change the parameters. I hope you understand, guys, the gravity of Revit. You're dealing with a database. A database. It's not drafting only. It's a design software. You're dealing with a database with full of information, electrical and mechanical and dimension, architectural. So when you put when you put a receptacle, it defaults it to the physical dimension of the receptacle. You put a panel, it defaults it to the physical dimension of the panel, as well as the electrical properties of that panel. Any question, guys, about this? Any question? Okay, I'm going to move you guys through a couple of things at the top here. Home, if you guys can see, everybody's home at the top. Everybody can see home. When you're home, right? Can you guys see at the top here? Everybody can see home. When you're home, you can see a couple of symbols. The most important thing in home is right here. See, you guys see when you electrical? When you click on electrical, why am I not home? Okay, when you highlight electrical, can you guys see these are all the families that you want? We have wires, we have parallel conduits, we have devices, we have lights. So actually, what you're seeing here under electrical, you're seeing a picture of all your electrical families. Now you can get a family, guys, either from here or down from here too. I can go drag. Can you guys with me? You can drag that sensor right here, 120, drag it literally and put it right in here, and it will work. I found it sometimes easier to come all the families. I'm going to look at, okay, lighting devices. I want a sensor, ceiling, downlight sensor, standard. I can see it. I'm going to drag it, physically hold it, and drop it right in here. That's one way. Or you can come over here, expand it. It's going to be a device under device. You're going to click on the device and write all these devices. Here's all the data devices, communication devices, switch devices, and so forth.
How do you know which family you're using when you take it from the top menu?
If you're electrical, it defaults to the, I think it defaults to the most common ones that you use. What you're saying is, how does it grab?
I understand the family that you created down here where you have all the properties and the sizes and the pic images and everything else.
Yeah.
But if you're up at the top bar menu,
okay.
Select a receptacle. How does it know which one of the receptacles? You got 30 of them in the family.
Okay, let's. Okay, electrical. You grab a device. Let's grab electrical fixtures, and it brings you that. It defaults to thermostat, and then right here, the drop down here, and you can get all the devices that got created right in here.
Oh, okay, so it's just steering you to the family.
Yes, it's giving you a view of the family. That's why I found it sometimes easier to go to the families themselves and drag it. But if you clicked on it, it brings you here. Here's all the GFCI, all the squares, everything. It basically another view of what's at the bottom. Sub menu. You got it. Okay. All right. So if here's my home, here's my electrical. This is very important, right? The second thing I want you guys to do to know is all hell break loose, and I couldn't. All hell break loose, and I couldn't find my family. What would I do? You go insert, and do you see where it says load family? Load family. Now this is bringing any insert load family is bringing any symbol that you want into your plan. And we'll get into that one. I'm not going to do it now, but insert load family is a big deal. Let me go one more time. If you're home, the most important thing in home is basically the electrical symbols. There's a lot of other things here, but that's the most important thing. You go to the next one, insert. Everybody's under insert. When you go insert, you can link a Revit. Don't do that. You can link Revit file from here. Don't do that. But the most important thing, I can import CAD. Remember how we said if Ashley likes to do a detail in CAD and she wants to bring it into Revit, this is a nice place where you can import CAD. So I want you to know that import CAD. You can import anything you want. You can import image. You can import anything you want. Import CAD. Or you can also load a family. Families, they don't call them import families. They call them load families. So one more time. The most important thing under insert is I can import a CAD and I can also load a family. That's the only thing I want to emphasize here. Import CAD, load family. Let's go to annotation. If you go under annotation, oh boy, you can do a lot of stuff, guys. You can draw things. You can text. You can, the most important one that we're going to be using later on is tag all, the tags that we're going to be using. And I'm not going to talk about the tags yet, but we will be, this tags when it comes to annotation. By the way, annotation refers to anything written next to the symbol. So for example, I want to show you guys how it's going to look like. If you go here, look at this. All these, can you guys see all these symbols are not typed? You don't type it, Ashley. These are annotation. When you put your symbols, you run an annotation, and it will tag this receptacle with an annotation. You design your annotation to say RP circuit number 17. And if you go, here's the nice thing about it, Chris. If you go change this receptacle to circuit number 18, it will automatically update it to circuit number 18. That's the difference between tagging and typing the tag. We're not typing. The tag is dynamic. It sucks the information from the database.
So you're assigning data fields.
Yes, absolutely. This is, all these are data fields. Data fields. Okay, so that's tagging. Analyze. Analyze, when you go analyze, Rob, my friend, there's very important things under analyze. The most important thing, Dustin, is panel schedule. Remember, guys, we said, where do you going to get panel schedules? When you circuit your equipment, you're going to run a panel schedule. That's where you're going to go hit panel schedule, and it's going to hit it right there. It creates a panel schedule for you. Right now, if you run a panel schedule, you're going to get the big fat 0 because you don't have anything powered. You don't have a panel. So panel schedule. The second thing you can run, Chris, is schedules and quantities. I want to know how many 3/4 inch conduits do I have in the whole building. No problem. You can go run a schedule about conduits, all type of conduits, size, length, and it will run a schedule of all the 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch, all the conduits that you have in the project. Now that's powerful. Okay, so any question is, the most important thing I will emphasize is these two, panel schedule here and quantity schedules. Cool? Go to architects. A few things that we didn't do a whole lot of architects here, but you can build walls and ceilings here. This is the least used, at least electrically for us. Collaboration. This is important. Oladipo. Do you remember we say synchronize with central? You guys see that? When you're done working, can you guys see that? Right in here. Do you see that? It says synchronize with central. When you're done working here, what do you need to do? Synchronize. This means I am working on my stuff. I'm going to go suck this information up to into the central file, directly to the central file. This is very important. Very important. Synchronize with central. Now, also relinquish all mine. Chris, I know how we're going to be doing it. You're going to go and open it after you're done. I believe when you synchronize with central, it relinquish yours. But I always like to synchronize central, relinquish mine. Synchronize to central means load all my work to central. Relinquish mine means anything that I am touching right now, it's no longer mine, so Ashley can touch it. Not Ashley, in your case, Nick can touch it and work on it. Every time you touch an object in Revit, guys, it's yours. Your partner cannot touch it simultaneously. Okay, simultaneously. So that's why relinquish mine is very important. Synchronize, relinquish mine, meaning I have done my work, loaded it, and gave full authority to whoever comes into the central file to work on it. Am I clear about this concept? Yes, no?
Are you saying that if you synchronize with Sinam, you still need to relinquish all mine?
With modification, property schedule, borrow elements. I think if you synchronize now, it will relinquish too, but I always got into the habit of synchronize, relinquish. Synchronize always. So I'm synchronizing with central right now because I'm on the central. It's loading everything that I've done, which I'm not a whole lot, but it's synchronizing with central. Should have stopped there. 1, 2, see, you can see it's loading the stuff into, because when I open this, guys, I open a copy, local copy on my C drive. So I'm looking at the local copy in my C drive. Okay, so that's synchronize and relinquish. Always get into the habit of that. Regardless of synchronize, probably will get you relinquish too, but synchronize, relinquish, get out, guaranteed.
It goes together.
Yeah, you hit synchronize. When you're done, hit relinquish and exit. Yep. I don't know, I haven't tried it. Synchronize, you're loading everything they've done. I shouldn't have done that. 33, loading it to the network. Okay, I want to show you two things, guys. Three things: view, manage, and modify, and then we're done with our view. After lunch, we'll start the setup. Cool? Come on, man. I shouldn't have hit the synchronize. Why didn't you tell me not to hit synchronize, Mr. Oladipo?
I'm not saying you did. I'm only asking whether you can do both together.
What do you mean both of them simultaneously?
Not simultaneously, but when you synchronize, you must keep going when you do.
Yep. Get into the habit, synchronize, relinquish, get off. Yep, absolutely. No, I just need somebody to blame. You're not your fault, but you know, like everybody else, it's easier to blame others than yourself. Yes, sir. No. Save to your local, I believe. Synchronize is the term that you need to talk to the central file. Yeah. Okay, we're synchronized. All right, let's go to the view. Well, I don't want to go through the whole thing, but collaborate is where you find synchronize, relinquish. Okay, view. If you guys go to view, do you remember that view is one thing very important here is drafting view. If you click drafting view, it gives you a blank piece of paper to import or draft anything you want in it. I love drafting view. So if I want to do my riser, a poor man's job or poor woman's job, instead of doing it dynamic in Revit, I will do it drafting. That before I draft it in CAD, well, you can do it in CAD, and then when you want to bring it to Revit, the first thing I would do, I create a drafting view. So how do you create a drafting view? Click on this, drafting view, and if I click on drafting view, as a matter of fact, click here, it will create a drafting view. It tells you what, don't worry about the scale, because you can scale it at any time. Name it Chad, whatever you want to name it. And where does it drop it? Under the drafting views that you guys saw. I don't want to do a drafting view. Don't worry about the scale again, because you can scale it at any time. Okay? Drafting view. The other thing under drafting that I like, we used a lot, guys, last time, is sections and plan view. These are, if I want to have a section, cut this building by half and look at it this way. They were very powerful. For example, when you drop your fixture, you drop it, it looks like it's sitting good, Chad. You do a section and you look at it and it's attached to the floor. That's when we when we start checking your work, say, Chad, circuit, everything is good. You'll be surprised. Because this is a new system for all of us, guys. A lot of fixtures were actually attached to the floor. So what do we need to do then? We need to offset them off the floor all the way to the ceiling. Mishad Cooley can tell you stories about they send the project guys to customers. The customers open in 3Ds, and all these fixtures were floating in the air, not in the ceiling. And because we're all
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, every time they say something about Revit, I'm like, okay, how are we treating this Revit project? Are we treating this like CAD? Like,
Yeah.
you know, I call it a dummy Revit project.
Yes.
A project that really
should be in CAD.
Right. Or is it gonna be 3D and everything?
Complete 3D.
Because there's a total difference in how you're gonna do it.
Absolutely. If you don't care where your fixture are, you drop your fixture, they're attached to the floor, and you circuit them, and you print to the customer 2D, and they have no idea it looks beautiful. The minute that you open the model in 3D, you can see that this fixture is supposed to be in the ceiling is attached to the floor. Who cares? The question is, who cares if it's the floor to the ceiling? Revit, guys, is supposed to have collision detection between your mechanical system and electrical system. How are you going to have a collision detection between the lights above your head and the mechanical fixture there when they're in two different levels? Defeats the purpose.
What became for us?
I don't know. I can't remember. Okay. Any question, guys, about this? All right. So here's the view. This is the only thing I want you guys to know for the time being. Manage. Manage is a few very important things in manage. I will get you there. The most important thing right now in manage is that little icon here. It says manage project information. We're going to do it after lunch. We're going to go manage project information. Click on it. This is where you can put the information about your project, the general information about your project. So it will populate the title block. It populates the title block. Very important. General information about your project, project date, project status, done, in progress, the client, address. You can hit edit here, and it will get you the address that you can do. What else? You have energy setting. We didn't do any energy setting here. You can do energy setting. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do, guys, with that little. Is it here? There you go. That project information. You can do a project information. Yeah, that's family. Okay. So that's my project. Any question, guys, about project information? That's very important aspect. Again, what I know, guys, about Revit is probably 20% of what Revit can do. And a lot of you guys, you're gonna learn, if you become a Revit expert, you're gonna spend all your life trying to utilize this powerful software if you become a Revit expert designer. Okay, modify. The last one is modify. I can do this. Came handy last year when we were drafting in Revit, just drafting distances. You can cut, trim. It's like CAD. Can you guys see at the top? You can cut. If I have a drafting view and I want to start drafting a riser, that's where it becomes very handy. You want to chop, cut, trim, modify, distance. All these things came very handy if you are using, back to you, Nick, using Revit as a CAD. That's a Revit as a CAD component. I'm sure it has a lot of application in Revit too, but that's what we use it for. Okay, any question, guys? Any question? Oh, I need to unpin. Okay, we'll talk about this one. There's one other thing, guys, modify. There's unpin and pin. You fix the model so it doesn't move. I'll show you later on when with the most important things when you bring your model is you have to pin the model to the view. If you don't do the pin, can you guys see that under modify, unpin and pin? You have to grab the model, I'll show you, and pin that model, meaning if Chris comes and accidentally drag the whole building this way, it's not, nothing will be, the building will be here and the equipment will be sitting right there. That's a big thing. When we bring the model and we pin the model right in here. We don't want it to move anywhere. We can look at it, but we don't want it to move. Okay. That's all what I have for this. Any question, guys? Overview, quick overview. Half an hour lunch, and we'll do setup, huh? Cool? Oh, Chris. No, I don't. But I have to give you grief, though. I don't know. That's a good question, though. I really don't. Okay, now I'm done. So what do you need to do, my friends, all of you? Now we're done. We're going to go to collaborate, synchronize now. Will take us forever, right? Relinquish and out. Okay, but you need to always get into the habit, synchronize, relinquish, get out. Please. Make it easier for us.
But if you're just looking and not intending to touch, the best way to do that is just close it out. If you're opening it just to look.
But if you touch something, it assigned you as a user, though. So relinquish them.
So
At least relinquish, yeah. If you touch something, it assigns you as a user. As an owner, not user, as an owner. So relinquish. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to relinquish. And I'm going to go exit this baby. When you're done, guys, I'm going to go close the project. Close the project. Done. I go back into CAD open, Revit open, but my project is closed, right? So I go back to this view.
In my case, I wanted to look but not touch.
Relinquish.
So I hit relinquish and it gave me three options.
Relinquish. What are they?
One is save, which I don't want to do.
See,
I wanted to look but not touch.
Yeah.
The other is save. Well, here, I'll just look.
Yeah. Relinquish without saving. Okay.
Do not save and set, okay, save a project and set reminder interval, save projects. Because you didn't save, it doesn't want you, don't save and set reminder, just do the second one, save. Hit that one, do not save and save.
Do not save, yeah, I mean,
See-
if I wanna look without touching, I'm assuming the last thing you wanna do is save.
Well, they assume in here if you touch it, you're gonna do something. The software is
Old
assuming.
assumption.
Okay, you said, okay, I think it will, every 50 minutes, it reminds you to save. So, just relinquishing, it doesn't allow you even to relinquish. Okay, so just synchronize it. It's not gonna do anything with that. Just
No, I wanna know how to look at it
Yeah.
without affecting it.
Yeah.
If it can't do that, it's garbage.
Save locally. Let's save.
No,
Do not
I
save the
don't, I wanna know how to not save.
Here it says relinquish all money and worship. That's what we want to do. Okay, so that's it. So you just exited, but you also gave the authority to the others. Okay, that's a good point. Okay.
Okay, any question, guys? Any question about that? We'll do the setup